Crazy day in the market today. I hope you all were on the right side of it. If not, what you need to do is subscribe to my channel, put your notifications on so you can be alerted when these videos come. Also, subscribe to the Discord. That way you could get these plays, these alerts, live updates, entries, exits, and options to buy. And you don't have to worry about having a bad day. So the link to the Discord is in the description of this video. Let's get into the video. So we're going to talk about Tesla and what's going on in my mind with Tesla. So these past couple of days, maybe the last 10 days, 11 days, something like that, Tesla has just been going crazy, right? Straight parabolic move for the month, nonstop. And now it's probably just about over, right? What did I see? How did I play it? Where am I going next with it? First off, we're here on the monthly chart with Tesla. And the very first thing that I would add to this chart is the downtrend line from, what is this? November 2021, right? So we got that. Then I put it here. Boom. Now, why did I put it here instead of dragging it all the way to here? It's because we don't want to be biased on this line, right? So this is where the line originated from. So we don't want to bring this line to where we think it should be. We want this line to go naturally where it's going to go. So that's first, right? As you can see here in this downtrend line, we have one test, two tests, three tests. We can kind of say this is a test. And then we finally broke it right here, right? So we got four tests and we finally break this line. When I look at the trend line, I like to say anytime a trend line is breached or mitigated, it's weakened. So maybe the next time up we'll actually cross it. Or if we don't cross it and stay above it, we'll go higher than this candle right here, right? So we'll keep attacking this line now until we can clear it. As far as Tesla goes on a lower time frame, we'll come back here to this monthly time frame in a second. But we go down to these lower time frames. Let's go down to the daily. And from the daily, this has been our focus more or less for the year, right? So we've had this inverse head and shoulders is what we broke out of. That took us up to this point in the first place. So if I were to draw this on the chart, I would say, that this perhaps was my right shoulder, right? This was my head. This was my other shoulder right here. And this was my breakout, right? So I would have drew something similar to this, right? Somebody else might have drawn it from down here, right? I feel like this was more of how the move went. Now, we have this move, we have this breakout, and if we go down to this, let's just say this 4-day right here, we can see that we had the breakout, but we never retested this line, right? So what the market wants to do is have a breakout, a retest, and then another breakout. In this case, we just had a breakout. So what I think wants to happen now is that price wants to come back down here. Now, I know somebody else is going to tell me how I'm looking at this is wrong, but in my mind, and this is how I've been trading for years, and I always seem to get the exact same answers when I do these charts. Something's working. So in my mind, when I see patterns repeating themselves over and over again, in my mind, whether they fail or they are successful, I consider that like the Elliott wave, right? So even just right here, you can see another inverse head and shoulders, right? Here, maybe here, here, right? And somebody else would be like, "Oh, you're just seeing things." Whatever, however you want to do it, just follow along though. So we have this inverse head and shoulders right here. Boom, we break out. We hit this line right here, and more or less just peek over it and reject. My idea is that we're coming all the way back down here to maybe like 193, 198. And when you see this, right, if I open this up real quick, if I take this horizontal line real quick, and I put it there, right, we're more or less coming back to this area where we kind of broke out from, right? So now if I take this right to the breakout, right, this is where we're at, right? Now if I bring this back here to the close of this bar, this is where we're at. Now, some people would say, well, the gap is from this wick to this wick, right? So another thing that I say that's in the market is a wick is a gap, right? So a wick is a gap in price. That's why if you take the wicks off, you'll see more gaps in the market. So a wick is also a gap in price. So when you're measuring these gaps, I personally like to take off the wicks and measure the actual closed bars. And when you measure the closed bar, you see that when we come back down here, this is the exact breakout that we have from here, right? This is where price actually broke out from, right here, right? So my idea is that Tesla, after this nice run up, should pull back all the way to around 190, 191, maybe around 200. Now, what's the next thing that I see on this chart? So remember, I said that when I see a bunch of the same patterns repetitive, I consider it to be the Elliott wave. Others might say, I don't have any clue what I'm talking about. But again, I've been doing this for years and I come up with the same results over and over again. So if we go to the monthly again, let's take it to the monthly and let's erase this inverse head and shoulders. And matter of fact, let's go to the 2 month. I mean the 2 week first. Then we'll come back to the 2 month. When I look at this right here, right, and I open this up, well, right here seems to be another inverse head and shoulders, right? And when I look at this one, it just so happens that this measures up with this, right? Or where we came from, right? So my thought process is now that we never had the retest on the neckline from breaking out of this head and shoulders right here, right? And let me see where I did this at the last time. Okay, so I did it from the monthly. So again, we take horizontal lines and we're never biased with these lines by drawing the line and then moving it to where we think it should go. We always use the magnet to draw these lines. So I'll take this horizontal ray, put it here, and I'll put it here, right? As you can see, this is kind of where this breaks out from, right? So this is a different pattern on the monthly, right? This is like more or less like a consolidation, but it breaks out from right here. As you can see, this is exactly where this takes off from, right? So in my eyes, price either hits this 191 area or hits this 196 area, maybe like 198, maybe 197, something like that. So 191 to 197, this is my next buy zone for Tesla, right? It gets a little deeper than that. So we had this little inverse head and shoulders on a lower time frame. We have this inverse head and shoulders on a monthly or 2 week time frame. I say on the 2 week time frame, right? And then let's fix this up though. Let's fix that. But now we have on a monthly time frame, we have another. Let's get rid of this so we can see this pretty clearly. Well, you can see it pretty clear from here, though. Tell you the truth, but let's just get rid of this because this is just an extra line in the way. Right here, though, we have another inverse head and shoulders, right? And when we do all of this all together, right, and we look at how these lines interact off of these next to inverse head and shoulders, I personally would say that in December, possibly, so because this is where my line is intersecting, in December, possibly, is when Tesla actually breaks out. It could be like October. It could be, you know what I mean? It could be sooner. It could, this doesn't have to just end up like this, right? And you know, because I drug this all the way over, but the necklines always stay the same, right? So I can do this wherever I want, right? The necklines always stay the same, right? So I can move this, nothing happens, right? The neckline is always the same. So I would say I take this horizontal line here. We're going to put it in here for December, right? And I personally want to think that in December is when we will see Tesla start to break out. Now, Tesla likes to break out around December's, right? Or break down, right? So we got November, December, we got Tesla breaking down, right? We find another one. We got November, December, Tesla breaking down. So January's Teslas like to break out, right? Or break down, right? Like for the most part. We do it again. November, December, January, Tesla gets a big move, right? So we're gonna go through it again. And I feel like this time, December and January, Tesla gets the big move. So as far as right now goes in the moment, Tesla, in my opinion, is about to make the move all the way back down to here to play the right shoulder. And again, like I said, this doesn't necessarily have to be in it doesn't necessarily have to be this far out. It can happen quicker, however you want. But the necklines are going to stay the same, right? Where this ends at, it's going to stay the same. So again, in my opinion, I say Tesla gets this move down here, back to where we broke out from originally, and then we bounce, and this is where we more or less exit from, right? I'm saying roughly December, and then according to the news, they just had some news about the robo taxi getting pushed back and whatever. Outside of the news, I'm more of a chart pattern person, more of a chart before news. News is the announcement of what the charts are doing. That's my take on the market. So we looking at Tesla again. Tesla goes back to 190, 198, somewhere around there, right? Then we start taking off again. So that's my thought process on what's going on with Tesla. Again, the speed in which it happens. We don't time the market, right? We play with time. So with that said, and I'm just trying to tighten up these lines, sorry. With that said, this is what I see on Tesla and how I'm thinking to play this for the remainder of the year and in the current local situation with Tesla. Now, again, if you want the full details on this play, and I'll slide this over a little bit. So now it's in November, just because I tweaked the lines a little bit. But if you want the raw details on this, my entries, my exits, the options I'm looking at, join the Discord. Link is in the description. Put on your notifications and your alerts. Subscribe to this channel. Look out for the next video. Stay tuned for more.